Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of 12 on Health. You're watching News 12 Connecticut, as local news gets. Now, today we're getting into more detail about how to help young children use words and become more articulate. This is on the heels of that recent study we told you about that finds too much TV can interfere with a child's language development. Researchers actually recorded what, if anything, babies and preschoolers said while watching TV. The Seattle Children's Research Institute studied about 330 children under the age of 4 and found the more they tune in, the more they tune out verbally. For every hour of TV they watch, they utter fewer sounds, use fewer words, and engage in less conversation. What's a parent to do? You got it. Experts say turn off the TV and get your child involved in interactive activities.
Get them thinking, get them talking, and using various skills. Be involved with them. That's the best thing a parent can do.
Now, that was advice from psychologist Norma Kerwin. Now we're going to get into more detail on how to help children use more words. Speech-language pathologist Sherry Artemenko is here to describe what it takes to help a child become more articulate. And Sherry has been helping local families with this issue for years through her Southport-based business, Play on Words. Love the name of it.
Thank you.
I guess the medium is the message in that case.
Right.
So first of all, this study on TV did not surprise you.
No, it really makes sense. As you said, with each hour that the infants and toddlers watch TV, they verbalize less and we're engaged in fewer conversations with adults. That's the same as if you or I were watching TV or our children. You don't engage in a lot of conversation. Right. You're watching the television.
You might get shh with the adults.
Exactly, yeah, right. So there actually were some good studies that came out a few years ago, also out of the University of Washington, that I like, and they looked at 9-month-old American infants, and they exposed them to Mandarin Chinese for a little less than 5 hours. And they had 3 different groups. The first group heard live speakers. The second group, native speakers, the second group heard a professionally produced DVD of the same thing.
Okay.
And the third group heard an audio tape. And the only group that gleaned something from this experience and could actually distinguish some phonemic differences, sound differences, was the group that heard the live speakers.
So when they see the person speaking, they absorb much more information.
Right. Language is delivered in a social setting. Just hearing the voice. I have parents that say to me, moms say, well, is my child learning something from hearing me on the telephone?
Right.
Not really.
Oh.
We need to be talking and looking at the person. Eye contact is important, what you say and how you say it.
They need more of that.
Yeah.
Okay, what can a parent do to increase their child's language skills?
Well, there are a lot of things to do, and I love talking about it. Obviously, I talk about how to talk, read, and play with your child to really enhance language. If you have an infant, you want to be talking a lot to them.
So even if they're not necessarily absorbing it all in your mind.
Actually, they are absorbing it.
They are absorbing it. Know that they are, I guess. But also, feel free to use words and concepts that are way over their head.
Absolutely, absolutely. Talk as if you're talking to an adult a lot of the time. No baby talk for sure. Okay?
No baba?
No baba. No, because then they're going to learn that's what a baba's.
That's what a baba is.
Right. But you want to be talking kind of in a running commentary. Oh, I'm going to get dinner ready. Let's get out that shiny big pot for the pasta, and I'm going to fill it with water. You want to be following their focus of attention, what they're looking at. If a toddler picks up a toy like this little taggy car, and they're looking at the window. Oh, it just went off, the little beep. You're going to talk about the beep or the fuzzy top or the button you get to push.
Go into the description
of what they're looking at and doing.
Okay.
They take in more language when you do that.
Okay. And here's another toy. It looks like your basic carriage, but you're saying encourage them to do the whole make-believe thing?
Absolutely. When kids make up stories, they're just preparing to be good writers and storytellers. So you want the child to direct the play. You want the parent to be the producer and not the director. In other words, you're going to put out some wonderful toys.
Okay.
You're going to put out a little carriage with some people that can talk. You're going to put out some Play-Doh so you can make a little blanket, little steps to come out.
Cute.
Again, you're going to set up the play and let your child take over.
I have a feeling my daughter would like a play date with you. you have, the concept is set up a play environment that will get them
Yes.
thinking and talking.
Right, with good props, good creative props. I was working with a little 3-year-old the other day, and we had a little miniature hospital and people about this big, and Mom just left the table and slowly and quietly came back and put down a stethoscope. So didn't her daughter put on the stethoscope and start, you know, hearing the heartbeat of a figure about this big? But that was a great mom.
So provide them
who
with
just
some interesting
put out
items.
some things, didn't say anything, and let her daughter take over the play.
And if the child seems to be playing well on their own and even talking a lot, should you leave them be?
Certainly some time alone is great, but a parent coming into a situation with a child and adding to the play can raise the level of language also. Because you could say, oh, where should we go now? Let's see, the castle, or are we on our way to the grocery store?
Okay.
You might say something, give a choice, and let the child take off with
That's
that.
fun. And for those of us who only have one child, how much alone time is a good amount?
Well, it depends on the child. You know, I think it's great when children can entertain themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a skill in and of itself.
It is a skill in and of itself. So I think it's nice to have some time alone, also to have playmates, and you can be their playmate.
Right, right.
You know, it's fun to play with a 2-year-old.
And you mentioned this, but I want to reiterate because I think it's interesting as a parent. Use words they may not be using right away.
Absolutely, absolutely.
3 syllables.
Absolutely. If you
Go
go to the
for it.
beach, talk about the hermit crabs. That's how you develop vocabulary, and vocabulary is huge. It's linked to reading comprehension several years later. So build that vocabulary, talk about things, describe things.
One last thing, we've got a break here, but you mentioned even if it's an educational DVD, it does not substitute the regular...
For live talking. I have not seen research that supports that infant DVDs, you know, give you a smarter baby.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the research says other things.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherry Artemanko, language pathologist. In just 90 minutes, we'll tell you about a certain type of hip surgery